is Steve. Learning AI on his own has made him unhappy. He joined the Upskillerator, a badass AI crew that upskills on AI together. Now Steve is happy. If you're tired of lone wolfing AI, click the thingy and join the baddest AI gang on the AI way. And when I say baddest, I actually mean goodest. Because for reasons that make no sense, the best way to say goodest is baddest. Anyways, you should join the Upskillerator by the human stack.
All right, y'all. I hope you enjoyed that fantastic video from Tim. Welcome so much. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Kelsey. I am your host on the Impact Stage throughout the day today, and I'm very excited. You just got a teaser of the fun that you're going to have with Tim and Dan. You just got a teaser of your next session, Mind Blown, the real AI hacks powering impact at the Furniture Bank. So, who are these two gentlemen? Tim joins us from the Human Stack. Human Stack transforms how organizations harness AI through rapid enablement. I can speak for myself because Giving Tuesday has worked with Tim on AI enablement for our team, and he does a fantastic job. His work delivers immediate value while preparing you for what's next. And with that, I'm going to give a little bit of an intro to Dan before we bring them on. So you just heard a little bit more about Tim. Dan Kershaw is the executive director of Furniture Bank, located in Toronto. Dan is a nationally recognized leader in charity-powered innovation, social enterprise, and technology-driven impact. And since 2014, he has led Furniture Bank through successful financial turnaround and a growth period. And so we're really excited to hear from Dan and Tim on how he has done a bit of that and the work that Dan is doing to bring data-driven and entrepreneurial approach to solving social challenges. I will be back on stage with the two of them at the end to hopefully have time for some Q&A and enjoy the conversation. Over to you, Tim and Dan.
Hey everybody!
I think we're here.
Welcome. Yeah, welcome to our session, Dan. It's so great to see you, and I am so excited to be here today. And if you could just, while we are figuring out how to share our screen here,
Yes.
if you could just let us know what your name is, where you're at today, and why you wanted to come to this session, that would be great. You can just drop that in the sidebar there. Unfortunately, I'm going to be moving so fast I won't be able to read all the comments, but I do go back later, so I'm really excited about that. And I'm so excited to introduce my friend. I talk to Dan almost every day at this point because we have so much excitement about what's going on with AI at the Furniture Bank and beyond. So Dan, thanks so much for joining me.
Oh, happy to be here. And I'm looking at where everybody's from. Like up here in Canada, it's so lonely relative to all the people here. You have such a vibrant ecosystem down in the US, and I see lots of international people too.
That's amazing. Yeah, I'm so glad that everybody could join. Okay, so just to kick us off here, and you've already started, we just want to take a minute and say, here's where we're going to be going today. So we are going to be talking about 3 use cases where Dan has used AI to solve just everyday problems that a lot of executive directors and other nonprofit practitioners are experiencing in their work. So we're going to start with how do you get Google reviews, or how Dan got Google reviews. We're going to talk through how expensive experts are and what if you could just afford and have one on staff. And then third, we're going to talk about fine-tuning email consistency. On that third one, unfortunately, we won't be getting hands-on because we don't have enough time. However, and I'll say this multiple times, stop by our booth and leave us a message. Let us know you're interested. We'll find a way to connect on that.
Or hang out with me after, and I'll happily talk about this stuff.
Absolutely, yes. The next thing I want to just say, everything we're going to be presenting today can be done on Google Gemini. And I'm choosing to focus on Gemini. It really is the workhouse that most nonprofits are paying for right now. It is free to nonprofits. So if you don't have it already, go grab it. And before we do anything else, I want to just put a poll up. And if you've already taken this, great. But would you go to the poll and identify how would you characterize your relationship to AI? And we can see those coming in. Amazing. Look at this. Okay, resistant. Resistance is way down this year. Oh, this is amazing. That is great. Reluctance, 15%. Comfortable, 40%. Look at this. It's neck and neck between comfortable and engaged. They're coming around the corner. We're coming up to the line. I think comfortable is going to take it. What do you think, Dan?
I hope so.
I mean, the fact that over 80% of people are over the comfort line and into comfortable and engaged is so encouraging, just so encouraging. So that is great. We're going to leave this poll open. If you hop in, you decide you didn't vote already and you want to later, please go ahead and take a minute and vote. That would be great. We are ready to give away a bunch of things today. We've been prepping for this, and I'm so excited about this. Dan, do you want to take the first three things there and explain what we're going to do, and I'll do from booth access down?
Okay, so yeah, so one thing is, why do I show up on these things? Because most people think if you can't see little charities like us doing and using AI, you think you can't do it. So what we're doing here is showing practical things that we have done, do here at Furniture Bank. They're all free. We're going to give away a lot of the prompts, which are sitting in the resources, because what we find is until you actually just do it, grab it, paste it, try it, you can't see the magic. And then we all have these types of problems, and we've tried to give you things that you can adapt for your own use. So it's not just this is the Furniture Bank show. It's just we've adapted it so you can use the same tools, the same philosophies that we do here at Furniture Bank.
Amazing. Yep, great. And then we've opened up our booth. We're going to be hanging out there. I got to be honest, when we've done this in the past, I didn't really pay that much attention to booths. I used to go to events and be at booths, and I would just put a sign up and say, catch me at the cafeteria eating ice cream and playing board games, and then I would hang out with people. That was kind of how I did booths. But what I found is that the booth here is really cool. So we've doctored it all up. Stop by. We've got some freebies for you there. There is 100 free tips on how to use AI, and there is also a nonprofit AI policy template. So stop by and grab those. Also, you can roll in our course, AI for Anyone, and get 10% off. So it's less than $100 already, but we want to give another 10% off. So there you go. Please do stop by the booth. Be excited about that. All right, so let's get going here. First up, we're going to start with our first. Oh no, we're going to do one more poll here. Sorry. Have you tried the following? So if you look on your poll, there's a second poll here. Which of these have you tried? We want to just look at functions. I'm really curious, what functions have people been trying in AI? So let us know what you've been trying. Oh wow, this is great. I am so excited to see people have used
deep research.
Yeah,
high five to everybody.
This is so exciting. This is so exciting. Last year, well, I don't know.
Well, 3 months ago.
Even out last year, yeah. So, yeah, this is amazing. Look at those numbers. That's really, really exciting. So, this is I don't know how
it wasn't 80% because we wouldn't have anything to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Let's go. Let's dive in.
Let's do it. Okay, great. So we're going to start with our first. We're going to start with our first thing, and I'm sorry, but my screen went large, and so I can't find it. Okay, the first one here. So problem number 1, Dan had a low Google rating. Dan, can you explain what was going on with this problem?
So, very quick version. We all need Google reviews to show up in Google and any search engine. It's become one of the most important indicators for search rankings, local rankings, all those things. So for Furniture Bank, if we don't have furniture, we can't help families get up off floors. So we run a social enterprise model. So we need to essentially compete with 15 different for-profit junkers. So we needed Google reviews, and we had, the old way is we hope, and we were never getting reviews. So we created some mechanisms using a postcard, wherever I have them. Yeah, one of these things. We all know what QR codes are. But the problem is that these are drivers, and they wouldn't actually give them away nearly as consistently as we wanted. So we thought of a way to incentivize it using AI, and we're going to show you how that works.
So what I
And
love about the solution that you came up with is that you started from the end. And is my volume better there?
yep,
Okay, good, great. You started from the end of the maze and worked the other direction. So what I mean by that is that you created a game, you gamified the recognition if
yep.
people would say staff person's name on a Google review.
Yeah, so the little pie chart, we're going to play with it in a second, that was one every week we do this. And any time a person's name was showing up in the Google reviews or the feedback loops, they would get added to the wheel. So if you can see it, Bill was like a great donor or like great ambassador. He follows it, does a great job. So every time he goes out there and gets those Google reviews and his name is mentioned, he's getting added to the wheel. And every week when we have our ops meeting, we've got 15 trucks on the road. So that could be 30 plus people on the road have that opportunity to get recognized. And then we spin the wheel, and they get incentivized with depending on whatever it is. So it starts with them doing a great job in the donor's home, receiving those in-kind gifts. They get that leave behind, and they're doing a nice job. They're actually putting their name on the card. My name is Bill, and Brandon was with us. And what we found when we did this whole workflow is that the Google reviews shot up. And the other important thing is if you really get nerdy, I used to be a for-profit marketer, and Google reviews were meant to respond best practice within an hour. Now, who has the ability to respond to any Google review within an hour, let alone however quickly they get into? So we built a whole workflow that would ensure that when our teams did great work and a Google review happened, we got a quick review back, a thank you back to the reviewer. And then the team who did that great work also got quickly recognized at weekly meetings.
Yeah, this is such an important thing. And and I saw somebody comment, this is a great comment, that Google reviews don't apply to every organization. Absolutely, that's true. What I like about what Dan did here is that he engineered incentives to create outcomes that he wanted. So in order to get a Google review, he needed to have somebody drop off a postcard. And in order to get a postcard, he needed to incentivize his staff to leave one. And so,
Correctly.
what's that?
Correctly, because that's what we found is that there were two teams who were acing it, and everybody was whinging, why aren't we getting rewarded? So we actually iterated, and I think it's important here. It's not about Google reviews like for Furniture
Mm-hmm.
Bank, it's and critical, but we all have feedback loops we really need from the
Yep.
community, and you can apply
Yep.
the same methodology and philosophy to so many things.
So I want to have everybody now go and try making one of those spinners. And the way we're going to do this is if you'll go to Google or Gemini.google.com and open Gemini, and you'll see in there one of the options is Canvas. And I'm going to demo this in just a second, but I'm just going to pop this prompt in here so that you can use that prompt. And we're going to go try that. So if you go to if you go to Gemini, you click on tools, go to Canvas, and you just paste that simple prompt in there. Create a winner spinner that spins an arrow and randomly selects a month of the year. When the winner is selected, throw a party in the modal. You could replace month in the future with whatever you wanted to replace that with. And when you hit submit, it's just going to start coding for you. And I'm so curious, has anybody else tried creating a vibe code little app like this?
Yeah, I never thought I could program. I think you and I and Sammy were talking like I can think what I want. I know what I want. I have a picture in my head, but in terms of HTML and all that, never me. And now I'm vibe coding, fundraising ideas, and it's quite profound how accessible it is now.
Yeah, it really is incredible. And I think I didn't open the thing here so you can see this, but is going to start coding now. So
But
in the
when it's like
1970s,
I don't
100,
show this to staff when we're training because they're seeing code, and that's scary.
yeah,
The
exactly.
important thing is that if you know what you want, AI can do that first iteration. But if you like code, like this is what you can actually watch it as it's doing it.
Yep. And so it is, and I'm curious, did anybody else, how have others found this? Did it create anything? This is what mine looks like, and let's give it a try. So if I hit spin, it's going to spin, and it's going to select August. And then there, when it pops something out, that's a little modal, and it identified the wrong month as the winner. So clearly there is some cleanup work that we would need to do here to make it work better.
But
The
and this is an important thing. Many people probably on this call have AI made an error. But the whole point is that AI actually made a spinner, a winner, did something. You didn't have to code it. And now what you're going in is you're going to go and correct it. In the same way, when we have a volunteer, I won't say staff member, volunteer, they make a mistake, we guide them. And this is the process, is that the logic that we've got running now, it wasn't we did it right the first time. We've been iterating it, making it work based on all the feedback loops.
Great question, Maddie. Try adjusting the prompt a little bit. I've run into those walls as well. And honestly, what works is to just say it differently, try it a couple of different times, or even just sell it. This is a wild one, but say, yes, you can, try it anyway.
Mhm.
And a lot of times it will actually just start to make that work as well. So um, that's the, and I just put a correction in to tell it this found the wrong month and I want the arrow to spin, not the circle. So it's going to go back in, it's thinking that through, and it's going to recode everything really quickly to show it. And again, the main point here isn't whether it works perfectly. The main point here is you can use this kind of an approach to solve small problems in your organization.
And it's very good if you're working with an outside agency and you want to take a concept from historically you'd meet an agency and you just like make something and they'll happily charge you for it. Now you can actually go with a prototype, kind of what you want, and they aren't going to burn your dollars away.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, so it just spun again, and this time it's identifying the correct thing and it's spinning the arrow. It's kind of cool that it's putting it on the outside. I haven't seen that before. This is the kind of thing that we'd say, go ahead and keep playing with, see what else you can do. Let us know if it didn't work for you. If you tried something else and then it did, let us know about that. We'd love to hear that. We're going to move to the next issue here. But before we do, I just want to ask everybody, what other things could you do with a winter spinner? I thought of 3 ideas really quickly when I was doing this. Dan, what else could you do with a spinner like this that could randomize?
We're working this into a similar method, but we have volunteers. We have volunteers that do really the core charity work and looking at ways to thank them because they're part of our impact measurement loop. So they're capturing data and you know any type of randomizing where you're trying to share across the organization. So I've got a few staff. They're like, "Hey, we could," and generally that's what you're trying to do is let everybody realize that they are all part of putting AI to work in their different departments using similar tools.
Absolutely. I was also thinking if you wanted a randomizer on where to go to lunch, if you wanted a
Mm.
randomizer on, movie night, that's more of like, home personal use. But Anywhere that you want a randomizer, you could just throw some names in, create a little spinner like this, and then use that. So, okay, next problem.
Oh,
Experts
gosh.
are expensive. And Dan, I love the way that you've solved this.
So I am 12 years young into this space. I came from the for-profit space, and I didn't know anything about fundraising. And I've realized every time I meet, do you have a researcher? Do you have a data analyst? All the things that you need. We all need these things. But I'm pretty sure the US isn't any different than Canada. There is no funders for full-time researchers or full-time data analysts or full-time social media experts. And we live right now in a world where we can get partial expertise for free on our own, tailored to the way we need it. And I've been using and I'll run you through a few examples of what I've done, but literally all of us can essentially hire AI volunteers that are trained on the knowledge that's out there to help us then attach it to gems, and we'll talk about what that is. But deep research for me is the most, if you haven't done it, we've given you a zillion prompts on the side there that are really robust and really showcase just how far deep research can go. Not just in Google, you can do it in ChatGPT, you can do it in Claude, you can do it in Perplexity, even Notion. This is a really fundamental tool that we all should be leveraging for our needs.
Absolutely. And I have to say, I was sleeping on this one. I did some initial work with it, and it wasn't until I saw that what you are doing with it that I started to realize this is so powerful. So I think it was this slide right here where I
So
realized
this is out of date. So we did something in June, and in 30 days, I'd done 126 experiments. Some of them are organizational, some of them are about program impact measurement. For us, we work with helping getting kids up off floors. And you would think it's nonsensical that a funder would actually ask you to quantitatively prove that children need beds, but that is the nature of the world we are in. Operational expertise, we did a total cost of ownership of Microsoft versus Google. We left Microsoft, we're now on Google. I still love you, Microsoft. Communication, content, I don't have any formal trained marketers or social media people. I have people who want to be good at social, but to be really good at social is like a real profession. All the way down to personal. My daughter got married in Vegas. We're Canadians. We don't know anything about Vegas. And how do you design a well fleshed out trip to Vegas in June for the da-da? You can do all of these things with deep research. You can go to the next slide there, Tim. I don't even know what the number is.
It has got to be so high because,
So here's a living, breathing example, which the fellow in the bottom right corner, Tom Ahern, love the man. Haven't met him, can't afford him. But I have been to every seminar. I have read all of his books. I have Kindle notes. I have over 134 pages of time I've spent with Tom's knowledge. I have all of those books. My favorite one. How do you take everything that, show of hands, who's read a book, who's highlighted it, and what do you do with it? We now live in a world where you can literally use everything that was important to you. So I have gone and taken all my highlights, all my notes, all the things that I think resonate with what I'm trying to do at Furniture Bank, and I've built a virtual Tom. And I gave it, I said, go out and build me a primer that is essentially what is Tom's best practices, both what's out there, but also what is important to me. And I've embedded it in a gem. A gem is just essentially a container for all of this knowledge. And now, whenever any of my staff, because who has staff who think they're fundraisers? Me. But now I can have an AI volunteer, my Tombot, that can help spar with me on best practices. Because I used to have red hair and lots of it. I don't remember things anymore. So now I've got something that can be with me and my staff so that we can make sure we're following all the best practices, all of these sessions that we go to all year do for us.
I did not know that you had red hair. I feel like that's a wild thing to think through. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to create a deep research primer. The cheat code that Dan taught me that just is so obvious, but I hadn't thought of it, is instead of just reading the output, you want to store that output and use it as the input for other gems, use it as a large knowledge and context base. And so really what you're doing is stacking research on top of each other and then reusing it. And you can use your own data as the research that you're doing. So we're going to try this out really quickly.
Go for it.
So what I want you to do is go grab the resource kit. That should be a link that's out there. If we haven't put that out,
it is.
Okay, perfect. Go to that, and then in one of the first pages, you'll notice this deep research primer prompt right here. Go ahead and copy that. It's a long one here, but go ahead and copy all of that. And we're just going to copy that, and then we're going to go to a new gem. We're going to go to Gemini.
And you could also use this in ChatGPT. Like this is not, the nice thing is if you have a particular flavor, use it there.
Absolutely. Great note. Thanks, Stan. And you're just going to paste it, go up to the top, and where it says insert the topic there, we're just going to say nonprofit email newsletters. All right. Make sure that you've clicked on deep research and then click on submit. And I've done this multiple times with Dan's prompt here, and it'll create a primer on any topic that you give it, which is just wild. And so it's just going to start rolling on that. Dan, I wonder if in the meantime, you could talk through what you found with this, any of the tips, the other things that you're doing with it.
Yeah, so like when this completes, so it'll spit back what it thinks it's going to do, which is just showing here. Generally, you can read, if you hit the more, you'll see this as, think of it as a grad level researcher. They're going to go out and go gather all of the information that they can find. When you get the result back, which will probably be 3 to 5 minutes from now, you also can use Canvas. We just saw Canvas in the previous example where you can create interactive infographics and things like that. So there's many ways you can use it. I've used it. I will run oftentimes and create many of these files and then bring them over to gems, which we'll look at, which is essentially a set of instructions like a prompt, but you can also attach PDFs, Google Docs, all sorts of things. And the size of the context window means you can jam it full of knowledge, and everything it goes through is going to keep it focused on those things. You see where it's going. It's going to Adobe, it's going to Bloomerang, all of these details. And ultimately, it's going to build you a very structured Google Doc that ultimately you can then share with your team. So these days, if my staff, we need to do a pivot table. I don't know how to do a pivot table. Well, I can go to deep research and say, I need to create a primer, introductory, how to use pivot tables, but I can also embed what Furniture Bank is. So it actually becomes personalized to the nature of what Furniture Bank is. So the document, the one that I did was we're trying to create a workflow that involves automating some of the newsletters that we're trying to create. So we don't have a marketer who's a best practice newsletter person. So we went and built one. And then that has been included in the chain of actions that are happening as we're building our newsletters.
And this creates a really robust piece of the context that you want to give it. Another piece of the context that you can give it are things like go to our website and create a style guide from it. Or here is our style guide. Use this whenever you're creating newsletters, etc. So you add more context to it. I'm just going to go back and check our progress here. I don't think it's probably done yet. When it's done, when it's done, we will save that into a Google document, and from there we'll use that in a gem later on. Okay, question to the audience here. What other topics could you research today? If you had a researcher like this, what are other topics that you could research? While you're thinking of that, Dan, could you walk through a little bit of what else is in the
Yeah.
resource
So
kit here?
yeah, so that we've got. I'm gonna look at it myself here. So what we did is the first one is like just that general one where you need a briefer and a primer on anything, any topic. It doesn't have to be work or otherwise. I've created ones around you need tight briefing notes. So one of my favorites is Devil's Advocate because, as we know, AI can generally be very. It can be nice sometimes. It'll give us what we want. And this is if you're dealing with topics that you need to be more rigorous, like newsletter best practices, low stakes. But if you're looking at something that you need some more rigor to push back, you could use it that way. I've given a few which are related to grant prospecting, doing a landscape analysis, a landscape not as in trees and things, but a market scan about some new program that you want to come up with. You can be very specific. The more specific you are, look at this, don't look at that, the better. And then if you want to learn something, I wanted to learn how to vibe code because Tim kept telling me I could. I'm like, I don't think I could. So I went and explained, talked to my computer about how I'm feeling, said, help me build a primer that speaks to me and my learning style. And I got a primer and I was actually in the upscaler and Tim showed me, actually, you can do it. But it's, I think it can be very personal and it can both for home or for I've shown my kids and they're using it a lot now as a way of quickly getting up the curve on a particular topic.
These ideas are incredible. Y'all, I'm so embarrassed to admit this, but I went into a question area and thought that the questions was the chat. So I have not seen until just a minute ago all of these amazing chats coming through and all of these ideas. So I'm sorry I haven't been calling those out. Russ, I love your idea on what to look at. So I think that I love all of what's coming through on the chat. Thanks so much for that. Okay, last problem here. How are we so already low on time? I don't
Let's go.
understand how
Dive
fast
in.
it goes.
Let's go.
Okay,
Let's go.
problem 3: consistent emails. Dan, go for it.
Yeah, let's go to the fun one. I know you wanted. I'm going to talk about that one if anybody wants to go in it, but quickly. The Google has this thing called Gems. It's a container, and yes, I see Deb. No, Google. While they're really good at sharing everything, they have yet to figure out how to let you share gems. So park that. That could change like 2 hours from now. But right now, you can create workflows where one gem connects to the next, which connects to the next. So you can start chaining different experts. So you have your social media expert, your copywriter expert, and they start passing the output from one to the next. So we're creating one which can personalize emails based on who the person is, what type of furniture they've donated, where they like all of what we know about our donors. And each gem is focusing on a headline or focusing on the body or focusing on the PSs and things like that, so that we don't have a copywriter standing by to engage with 10,000 donors. We're building a process where we can take the how they've engaged us and make sure that every email they're getting back from us is relevant to the way they've engaged with us. And we've given you it's a lot, but
this is a beefy assistant here. Like this has got some weight to it, which is why we put it in here so you can copy it. It will fit all inside of that, inside of the instructions area.
But I think it's important. Most people see those really big prompts and they're like, "Oh, I can't read that." But pause and read it. It's actually written. Just because you see ASCII and things like that, don't worry about it. You can actually follow what it's going to do. So usually those bigger prompts, they've got weird programming codes, but this is literally in English. This is what you're going to do. These are the rules. This is the context. And that's really what advanced prompting is. It's just being really specific on what you want these LLMs to do.
And then just to say, in case you don't stop by the booth where we can do this together, at the bottom here, where it says knowledge.
Yeah, that's where
that is where you put the deep research that we just did in the last step. You would throw that in here to give it context.
Plus any of your organization PDFs. I have one. So Google in particular, its context window is so huge, you can jam it full of hundreds of pages, like a ridiculous amount. So if don't PDFs, Google Docs, there's all sorts of things you can put it in, and that's the foundation on which that gem will behave.
Okay. All right. I want to get to Q&As. So number one takeaway, I've been doing work with nonprofit leaders in tech for decades now, and I can say, be like Dan. Dan is full of curiosity, approaches AI with a what else could I do with this? A deep respect for how to be responsible and beneficial with AI. So number one, be like Dan. Number two, deep research plus your data equals
Yeah.
getting real work done. Number three, leverage your workspace. Google Workspace is free. You can upgrade that to a paid version, but there is a free nonprofit version, and that is a gold mine. There's no reason you can't have Microsoft and Google, by the way. So you could
I
have
have them both. Yep.
right.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Number four, find us on LinkedIn. We'd love to engage with you. So if you are not already following me and Dan, we'd love to connect with you. And then five, meet Dan in the lounge right after this. I have another thing that I'm hopping to, so I can't be there. But I will be by the booth later on. So six, stop by the booth, grab some free resources. Okay. And then next, we want to just do a little bit of Q&A here. We've got 8 minutes left, so we're going to go for it here. And we're going to go with top questions here. So the
So
first
yes, Gemini is free. Get it on your mobile phone. Just start using it. And then there's usage limits. I've yet to come across them. In a
great.
nutshell.
All right, second question, Dan.
Furnish Bank, we have the business standard. It just gets you more access, faster access a little bit. So it's your organization at a minimum. Just start using the free Gemini. You get deep research. You can do Nana Banana. You can do all sorts of fun stuff. I agree. Google reviews, walk-in NPOs, but really anything that you need to create a process to increase, and your team is involved. That's where we're using, winner spinner. People can't see themselves as part of the process. All of our processes involve people and tech. Oh, a human stack.
Perfect. Perfectly done.
What do you hear about
Hey, Dan and Tim, do you guys want some help pulling out some of these questions from the Q&A?
Oh, go for it. Sure.
Yeah.
There were two different questions. You sort of already answered this, but there was a couple different questions about how to determine whether or not you should use deep research for something versus just like a standard chat tool. So what is your deciding factor to determine whether or not you should kind of like go down the road of deep research or something else?
So my rule of thumb is if I'm trying to essentially be a mini expert on something, or I don't have time to read, me reading Tom's books. I've been doing it over 12 years. We don't have 12 years. If somebody's like, I got to be an expert in enough to be able to do something, use deep research. When you're chatting, the chat, it wants to get you a quick response. Whereas when you're around deep research, you stop. In my case, I go and get a coffee. And I come back, and then I can repurpose it for different things. Yeah, a lot of it is like you're usually going to get back 15 plus pages. I think the biggest one I ever got was a 40-page Google Doc. Cited, referenced, sourced. Somewhere in the questions is what about verifying? Like that's the struggle I have, as Tim knows, is like I'm a deep research junkie because all knowledge is now in all of our hands. If I want to become an expert in Gregorian chant poems from the blah, blah, I can. I don't have the taste for it, but I can go and get the knowledge. So it unlocks the ability to be curious and learn things. And I think that's the important thing. If you want just a quick glib is wrong answer, but you can just chat. That's fine. But if you want something that's solid that you can go find the experts, it'll source those things. That's when I use deep research.
And
my rule of thumb on that is if you want to generate text, use chat. If you want to understand something, or you want chat to understand something, then use deep research.
that's a great
Mhm.
rule of thumb. There were two really good follow-up questions to that. Dan, you just sort of touched on that, but how do you determine the quality of this if you're not an expert in it? Like we want to verify our sources and make sure that these things aren't hallucinating. What is the best way to do that when you're getting this sort of deep level of insight, but
it's
you're not an expert?
yeah, a lot of it's like how do you intend to use it?
Mhm.
A lot of it for us is like communication or like our impact methodology. We use something called the social return on investment. It's international standard, and I want to create a primer. Um, will there be will one of the references be from 2007, not 2027? If I'm not clear enough to say only you look at resources, it could be. But again, what's the risk? So
Mhm.
in terms of in the whole body of information, is there a concern? And I think I'm not doing deep research for doing heart surgery because there'll be something wrong there and somebody's life will be affected. So that is always a continuum. Um, when it starts to get to what's the risk of it being wrong, that's where you are going to go into the links and the footnotes. But if you're just using it as a training engine, I guess I'm worrying about it less because it's there to help guide a jam or a staff member who has zero understanding on the topic.
Mhm. Tim, any
Yeah,
addition?
the only thing I'd add on that is if you're environmentally conscious, and hopefully we all are, deep research uses a lot more energy, right? And so
Yep.
really do be conscious of that. The second thing I would say is it's not just deep research, it's also understanding when to use the other tools. Canvas is just wild what it can do. Notebook LM can take all of those deep researches and feed it back to you in a podcast or a mind map, all sorts of other things. So, really explore the suite of what's available before you try and get too fancy
Yeah,
by upgrading with a lot of paid tools or your own mini LLM, so yeah.
Yep. And speaking of the environmental impact, there was a question about that. There is an entire session on this later today, so would recommend, I think it was Deb, to attend that session. You can find it in the schedule, but there's a whole
eh,
conversation
yeah.
happening later today
And
about
if that's important to you, do a deep research on that, but have them only focus on 2025 information, because this is a
that.
good example of there was the hyperbole of years ago where AI wasn't efficient and it did use a lot of energy versus today. And there's more data out there that like the two worlds of it is the end of the world narrative that was the beginning of the AI and the I'm not minimizing it at all. I'm an environmental 2 degrees in environmental studies. I totally get it. But the it lets you go and get if it's important to you, time down the research, and you'll actually get something that you can then reuse to help creating good questions to ask at that panel, for instance.
Mhm. Mhm. Okay, I'm going to end with one more question because we are at time. This is very practical. We're
Great.
asking how do we add books to this? You were talking about Dan earlier, when you're talking about Tom, how do you add books or sort of things that you're reading into these tools?
Yeah, so you would be able to, there's the usual plus signs. If you're in Google, you could add any Google Docs, you can add PDFs, you could add MP3s, transcripts. So if you have your material in digital format, you can. Like in my case, I read all my Kindles, I do all my highlights, I get my highlights, and I give that.
Mhm.
Um, but the Google's done a really good job making sure if you have digital assets, you can make it part of the research set.
Yep. Okay. There's a question about how to join the lounge. I'm going to tell you how to do that in just a second. But first, I'm going to thank both of you, Tim and Dan. Thank you so much. Tim, I know you have to run to another session, so we will let you go.
I'll put that deep research into the resource kit, by the way. I saw someone ask about that. So, yep.
Great.
Thank you
Awesome.
so much for coming, everybody. Kelsey,
Yep.
thank you so much. Always a joy to see you.
I know,
And
this was fun. Dan, Tim, great job. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
All right, y'all. What is coming up next? Where should you go? First, let's give some feedback and love to Tim and Dan. You can fill out the feedback form. It should be coming up on your screen in any second. Please give your feedback and love. This is how we improve the summit every year, by getting your feedback. So please share that if you have it. And as we mentioned, keep the conversation going with Dan. So Dan from the Furniture Bank will be in the lounge. You can talk to him. You can come off of mute. You can come on camera, and you can actually have a conversation with Dan and get into the nitty gritty. You can find that by going to the reception area. You will see lounge in the top navigation. Select it, find the table with the lounge title, ask Dan anything about AI, and you can join him and have conversations. All right, you can do the instructions, I think, are right up on the screen right there. So you can just look and see how you do that by joining the lounge. I'm going to call out a couple other opportunities and give some love to the amazing partners that help make the summit happen. So first, if you want to keep learning and skill building after the summit, we have this AI capability immersion program. In 3 weeks, you will master tools, workflows, and prompts that save hours and spark creativity. You also get 12 months of Spark sessions, lifetime access to the Living Resource Pack, and an invite to a Mission First AI community. This is normally a $5,000 value. For summit attendees to use, it is a $665 value until September 17th. So use the discount code FAI Summit at checkout, and you can access that resource. We've had a couple questions about recordings. The Fundraising AI Summit recordings will be free and accessible to all of you, all 63 of them, after the event. You can log in with your AirMeet credentials to watch the replays immediately after the event ends, and then you can check back on the Fundraising AI Summit website in about 4 weeks to access all of those recordings directly on the FAI website. We also have the Amplify Kit. So after all of the sessions that we've been attending, we've been sharing lots of resources. The great news is that it is all in this Amplify Kit for you. So this is packed with so many resources, exclusive savings, templates, free resources. All of that is available to you. You can think of this as your sort of go-to toolkit after the summit ends. And you can access it right now under the resources tab. I also want to give a lot of love to our sponsors. All of the names that you see on the screen help make this summit free and accessible to all of us. Be sure to visit their sponsor booths. Those are located in the top navigation area to explore their tools, their tech, and their partnerships, and have conversations with them. I'm going to give a little bit of love to each of our sponsors before we break. Huge thank you to our presenting partners, Virtuous and Giving Tuesday. Giving Tuesday is the organization that I'm part of, and I am so grateful and thankful to have the opportunity to work really closely with the FAI team to make this possible. I think you're able to see my slides right now, but I'm going to reshare them just in case you can't. All right, I think we're good to go. And next, we're going to give a big shout out to Arbor. So if anyone has used Arbor, it is incredible. Arbor is a storytelling tool. They help nonprofits and mission-driven teams communicate across social channels with very minimal effort. Arbor transforms your video library, your webinars, gala speeches, panels into clips, blog posts, short videos, etc. Fundraising AI registrants can sign up for a free strategy session with Arbor and get 10 pieces of social content created from any video. So you can access that today. A huge and incredible resource. Video, as we know, is taking over our social feeds. So this is a great resource for you. Next up, I want to highlight Nonprofit Pro. So Nonprofit Pro is the go-to source for nonprofit management and strategy. They have tons of resources for thought leaders and innovators on topics ranging from everything from internal issues like human resources, board, volunteer management, to tax and legal matters, news, etc. You can check out Nonprofit Pro and subscribe. For FAI Summit attendees, you can stay up to date on the latest trends and subscribe to the Nonprofit Pro Today newsletter. And coming up next, we have some great sessions going on throughout the day today. The party does not stop. On the Amplify stage, we have Work Smarter, Not Just Faster with using AI with Beth Cantor happening on the Amplify stage. On the Innovation stage, we have Culture First, Unlocking AI's Potential Through Leadership, Not Just Tools, with Sean Olds, Courtney Bolger, and a bunch of other, and Tim Lockie, our friend who we were just with, and Dr. Kevin Sansbury. On the Impact stage, the stage that I am hosting, you can join Sarah DeTroya and Layla Brenner on making the ask to grant makers to support AI implementation. Should be a really interesting conversation. The Spark stage is also open. I gave a plug for this earlier, but if you haven't checked this out, this is powered by our friends at Play. They're delivering very quick, high impact sessions to give you practical advice on how to put AI into action right now. Coming up, we have a few different sessions. We have your secret AI superpower, AI policy in 10 minutes, the prompt playbook, and AI speed dating, which sounds both terrifying and very fun. I wish that I could join for the AI speed dating. All right, before we close out this session, make sure you know where you're going next. Get ready to join your next session by clicking on the schedule button in the upper right corner, and you'll see all of the sessions that are coming up. You can enjoy any of the sessions that are currently live, or build out your calendar for the rest of the day today. And that is all for the session. There are so many more sessions coming up, so we hope you enjoy, and I will see you back on the Impact stage very soon. Thank you.